idea for us here then is to start looking at some of the final exam review type of questions that are there. I did not post this final exam review, but I will post it up today. What we do here in the whiteboard notes, I will actually post these up in the smartboard section of your notes so that you can actually see what the thought process was, how we worked them out. But I will put up the full final exam prep review, and then after we've done all the reviewing, I'll probably put up a complete answer set which shows worked out solutions as well. So that could be a valuable tool. Going back and looking at, by the way, one of the things that could be also useful is I know that only a small margin of you actually had to have that class that was scheduled on Friday, but in the My Math Lab, there's a link on the left-hand side that talks about Friday activities. If you're looking for additional types of problems, additional practice problems that also have worked out solutions, those Friday activities are a good thing to go back to and look if you're thinking about, I want to review or I want to see more problems, bless you, of that type. So I'm pretty sure you're going to see problems of all the types we get through today. I just don't know exactly what iteration you're going to get. I'm pretty certain that you're going to see a simple interest problem that will target your ability to remember that interest rates are expected to be annual rates. But the time factor they give you will not be a year factor. It'll be less than a year or more than a year. 9 months, 18 months, 27 weeks, something like that, where you'll have to do an adjustment for what portion of the year you have. You will be given formulas to use, and if you're given formulas to use, then that would mean, I just wanted to save that updated version. I made a mistake on this thing. Come back, save it, get out of there. There we go. So you're going to see these two formulas. These are the two formulas that you have to select from for the simple interest relationships in the problem. One of them targets interest alone. One of them targets the relationship between a present amount in account and a future amount in account. Being able to pick the right one is the important thing for you. So in this exercise, which of the two would you probably select? Which formula would be appropriate to use here?
First.
Why?
To determine the amount of interest.
So they use the magic word interest. There's only one of these two problems that uses interest directly. So would it make pretty much sense that that would be the choice you'd make in the problem? So remember, partial credit, what you do, what you show, and what you set up in the problem. So interest earned depends upon how much I started with, $500. What my interest rate was as a decimal, so we might want to be sure that we remember to put that into a decimal format, because if you just multiply it by 6, yeah, that's going to be a problem. And then your time factor in the exercise, which in this case was 9 months. But since the interest rates, since rates are annual, then time must be in years. So in this case, seeing just a multiplication problem of 9 would be a problem, because that would be saying that you're doing 9 years, and that would cost you at least 50% of the point value of the problem because you didn't account for or adjust appropriately. But in this particular case, wouldn't we expect to do something like this? So this could be dropped into the calculator pretty much straightforward. All the work's on one side of the problem, and we're pretty much done with that. There could be other iterations of this. They could tell us how much interest we earned and ask us how much money we started with. They could give us what we started with and how much interest they earned and ask us how long we left it there. Or ask us what the interest rate was. So as long as you have 3 of the 4 variables, it could be any iteration of a problem like this. So these would be the two things that we would be targeting as important things. Dropping it into the calculator makes life pretty easy, because 500, 6%, and 9 out of the 12 months means that you earned interest in the account of $22.50. It's quite possible that you may have been asked how much is in the account after those 9 months. If that would have been the case, could you have still started off this way? Sure you could have. What did you put into the account to begin with? 500. And now if you just picked up another $22.50, shouldn't you have been able to figure out that the amount in the account at the end was going to be $522.50? So it could be a two-step problem. If that was what you were asked and you weren't asked to how much interest you've made, could you have used the second formula in the problem? And if we've used the second formula in the problem, could we have started with our $500 and kept the interest of 6% times our 9/12? And would that have generated the same thing? So there's not one way and only one way you have to work a problem. It's a matter of what you see in the exercise. But that would have meant that you would have had to properly support the second part of the problem directly. Now, if they ask you to find the interest rate, or they ask you to find the time to leave it in there, the second form of the equation is not the best form of the equation to use, because there's just way too many steps to go through in the problem. So if the question looked a little bit more like this, you might have a different approach to the problem. And I can probably guarantee you that